So, hi there, everyone. This is Lou Martin, and I'm with my favorite leprechaun. Yes, my favorite Irish fairy. Here is Mary Jo Halligan. How are you, Mary Jo?
I'm wonderful, Lou. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our chat this morning. It's half six, 6:30 in the morning over here in New Zealand in South
Bless you.
Island.
Bless you. You've been up since when? 30 minutes ago, or?
Oh, more 4:30. I've been getting up like at 4:30 every morning this lately. Like my higher self, my soulfulness is like, bring it on. There's so much to get on with and to share and to care
Okay.
as well as my business here to
Right.
be able to come on and chats with yourself and create my own videos.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I couldn't be happier to support you, to know you, to be riding in your wake. 4:30 in the morning. Bless your heart. You're an inspiration to us all, myself included. So you're going to come to Ireland. You're coming back to the home sod here in August for a few weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right?
So I'll just give a little background. So I
Yeah.
grew up in Ireland. Yeah, and so I left 21 years ago when I was 19. I grew up in County Mayo, and I went to college in Sligo for a few years, and then I headed off, went to Jersey in the UK, Channel Islands, and then from there traveled and came to New Zealand just over 10 years ago. So I've set up my business over here, which is Vibrant Living Retreat and a day spa, and now I've created my latest business is Vibrant Wellness Academy, which is like a new paradigm training, education retreat for people who are energy sensitives and more of that right brain training. So
Right.
it's been a journey, but those formative years really, I guess if I look back, I see it as kind of taken away from my true essence in a way, just to function and survive and get by. And then leaving Ireland, really, I guess that was like me stretching my wings out into the world to discover new ways of looking at life and
Right.
to discover who I really was
Right.
and to heal parts of me that had been repressed, suppressed, denied, full of shame, full of guilt, feeling unlovable, not good enough, just so confused really, but just so much that hadn't been expressed, hadn't been allowed really, or just didn't feel like there was a place for that to land.
Sure.
So knowing that out in the world there was potentially different ways to look at life
Right.
that
Thank
could
God.
soften.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God. So
Right.
yeah, so that was so growing up in Ireland, that was my thing, to get out and travel,
Right.
and so that was my focus for many years. Pretty much, actually, it was pretty much my focus between working and making money and traveling and having new experiences and following my heart and taking trainings, was pretty much up until about 6 months before I got to New Zealand. Actually, no, it was even less than 6 months. It was just 3 months or something. I was coming through Costa Rica. I had a beautiful month in Costa Rica, which is beautiful. But I got to the end of that month and I just had this awareness of, I can't travel like this anymore. I have to it was like, I can't be a fly on the wall anymore. I have to create something. And I had
Right.
no idea how to create anything at that point.
Right.
But I was like, oh, okay. And then a few months later, found myself in this little village in New Zealand, Hamner Springs, and that was 10 years ago. And so since then, I had to learn how to be an entrepreneur and, recover my self-esteem and discover what we're all discovering these days, is that we are these powerful creator beings with this potential. And now, of course, science is backing it up with this understanding of the holographic projection and quantum physics, that we are literally projecting onto this canvas of reality. And
Right.
so what's within us, through our perceptions and beliefs and ideas and attitudes and expectations, is what is the paints that are
Sure.
painting on the canvas. So
Sure.
yeah, so it's been an amazing journey, and now I get to turn around and just offer up my journey of transformation, of healing, of discovery, of the tools that I found that really supported my upliftment, empowerment,
Right.
making peace with,
Sure. Sure. So,
acceptance journey. And I'm just delighted to share it with others. So I'm heading to Ireland, getting back to what you
no,
asked, heading to
correct.
Ireland in August, about mid-August. And I'm just really open to being of service, really. That was another thing. Before 3.5 years ago, before I set up Vibrant Living Retreat, I really got to that place of clarity and aha realization after being in a muddle for a while. And that was just the simplicity of that surrender, that the greatest joy of my soul is divine service. No doubt, unlike yourself.
Sure. Bless you. Bless you.
And that simplicity has carried, so much forward, and so much magic and synchronicity.
Right. So that was wonderful, hon. What are the tools that you share with people? What are the tools that you've used to help you come back into your spiritual self and your true self?
Yeah. So that's a great question, actually. So when I was 21, 22, I started to discover yoga. That was probably my first stepping stone, for sure. I was, the usual drinking on the weekends, doing drugs, doing a job that really was never my dream, but it made enough money to go traveling. I just kind of ended up in these places because when you don't know who you are, you just kind of do what you think you're supposed to do.
Sure.
Because what you're told, because what is expected, and
sure.
So yeah. I was kind of in that and feeling pretty lost, really.
Right.
And so I just got into yoga. I was because of growing up in Ireland and because of this Catholicism, this background, that was a huge backdrop to my upbringing.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of healing to do around God because for me, anything that looked spiritual or had spirituality or anything to do with God, like I was just so, it's like if I said the word, this is how much healing I had to do. If I had said the word, I would contract. I would feel heavy. I would feel all the shame and the guilt and the disgust in me.
Wonderful, isn't it?
And so I would,
word God triggers all
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was very cautious of anything that looked spiritual. So part of my story when I teach yoga now, because I'm an advanced yoga teacher trainer, is that, if anybody sat me sitting cross-legged chanting Oms, I would have ran for the hills.
Sure.
In those years, 21, 22, discovering yoga. So thankfully I discovered hot yoga. So that was, that was comfortable. That was my back door into yoga. So there was no Oms, there was no chanting, there was none of that. It was just more the physicality. And, but of course what I discovered in it, of course, was, it's telling me my internet connection is unstable. Wonder, should I move?
No, you're okay.
See how we go.
You're all right.
Okay. But what happened was that in those early years of the yoga, what I noticed is that when I was practicing yoga, I started to feel better about myself. My self-esteem started to go up. I started to feel better in my body.
Yes.
And then when I didn't do yoga, the anxious kind of thoughts would come back. I'd feel ungrounded. And of course, drinking alcohol and all that kind of lifestyle as well. So it was really trying to balance those polarities, I guess, really, of being out of balance and coming into balance. And yoga was helping me to kind of discover that difference, if you like. So I kept coming back to it over years and years and years. I kept coming back because I noticed that when I didn't, the body got more tense and the mind got more active. So as long as I kept my yoga practice, I could find a way to be more peacefulness within myself, and just generally feel more confident and feel more at ease. And so that's been the backbone, to be quite honest.
Yes.
And of course, I've done many different styles now, and I get to share yoga these days in a very intuitive, reflective way to who's in front of me. And I love sharing yoga, and my love is that to share yoga in a way that people leave going, oh yeah, I feel so good. I want to do this. I can do this. So I love building up confidence. I love teaching beginners or therapeutic yoga or dynamic yoga, or just meeting people where they are. And I guess that's a big blessing that's in my journey, or that that I have to offer because of my journey, is that I can meet a lot of people where they are and be quite relatable.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. So that's the yoga side. I mean, that's what I do in my retreats. But yeah, I've got so many tools. I got quantum healing hypnosis. So I do the Dolores Cannon method. I love that. That takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours usually with me. They're one-off sessions. They're recorded. And they're just so dynamic and powerful.
Can you, that's brilliant. Can you talk about what that means? Who Dolores Cannon was, what the sessions are like?
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah. And sweetheart, take your time. There's no rush. You're you're blazing a trail over there. We're here to listen. So you're doing great. You're doing brilliant.
Okay, so
there you go. Thank you.
probably, probably it's interesting because when I still get on camera and do these interviews, or even when I do my Facebook lives, I can feel this fluttering of my energy. So it's still something that
yes, sweetie,
I guess pushes my comfort zone.
Right. So that's why Blue is saying we're listening. You're doing great. Slow down. Enjoy the journey. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We're here for you.
Take a breath.
Yeah, there's no rush. You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah. Bless you.
So Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon developed her work over 45 years.
Right.
And she's written many, many books about it.
Yes.
And basically as past life regressionist, I guess, through her hypnosis.
Yeah.
And then she developed her own style that eventuated in going deeper into what she called the subconscious. However, what's been discovered since of it's more than the subconscious.
Yeah.
It drops into the soul, the higher self, the source. So
right.
So if you imagine that this is the bandwidth of our human consciousness down here, and through a quantum healing hypnosis session, open up the veil, we'll say, open up the channel, and this next part is the subconscious, go up higher, soul, higher self, over soul, infinite consciousness, infinite grace is what I call, is what I feel it to be as.
Yeah.
The isness.
Yeah.
So it's the sessions are a way for, there's no question off limit. Whoever comes to a session, their higher self knows what they're there for, and really wants to support them to come into harmony with their deeper wise self. Yeah. And so for some people that can be, it can be inner child stuff. It can be returned to some trauma in the childhood, just to put those pieces together of where patterns were picked up. Trauma or abuse, of course, because of course, when abuse happens in the childhood, then it can be, in the subconscious, or just not remembered or not sure. So some people are not sure if they were abused or not as a child. They might have memories, but not sure. Not necessarily that that it has to go there either. The higher self is very imaginative in how it can support the person really in these sessions. Right. So for other people, it can be into past lives because there's a real soul healing going on. And so there's a pattern that they may have brought into this life, or many patterns that has really come from different lifetimes. So they'll pick a couple of core lifetimes where that pattern really began, I guess. Sure. And so that's usually the forgiveness. So forgiveness is usually a big part of it. Sometimes just the acknowledgement and the acceptance of it is enough to allow that energy to really be released. But sometimes we do a forgiveness little practice within the session if the person's willing. So the person has to be willing to forgive whatever that was. And once we go through a past life, we'll always ask, well, what was the learning? What was the purpose? What were you learning from them? What, did you learn? Was it a successful life? So you can see it from the bigger picture. Sure. Brilliant. Within the session. Brilliant. And to go beyond that, the people, it's the planets, it's becoming energy beings, colors, coming back to source. Sometimes people are just shown creation of the universe. So it really just, everybody's at like a different vibration and a different soul path. So every session is unique. I mean, that's the wonderment of being the facilitator, is that I have no idea what's going to happen. And I even tell the person within it, just let go of what, that conscious mind that might go, why am I thinking this? Or why am I saying that? Because until we get to the end and ask the higher self, why did you show them that? How is that relatable to their life? We're not actually going to necessarily know. They might know, but they may not. They may not.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So, what are some of the things that you've been surprised to learn about reality, about healing, that have come up for you in working in this very deep and very conscious way?
Oh
I mean,
wow.
because I want to just take a moment to let everyone absorb the profound wisdom you've just shared. I mean, I'm a Dolores Cannon fan. I've not read all of her books, but I'm familiar with the breadth of her writing and her work, and I've heard her many times. And you know, definitely, she is one. Michael Newton is another. I'm familiar with who, and there are others, particularly through hypnosis, that have really opened this door into having a tour of who we are beyond this world, and it's quite breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess there's so many, there's so many. But I guess for me, the profundity is in the profundity of who we are.
Okay.
And yeah, and the joy is that through these sessions, shifting brainwave states, that we can open that channel,
right,
and really go into wherever in the person's universe, really,
right,
of where the information is relevant to them.
right.
And I guess there's just I guess I just feel like there's no limit to it, really.
Sure. Yeah.
And at the same time, I guess the most thing coming through is that truth of light, because we also do a body scan at the end, and just for any healing, because of course a lot of people come in and it's different physical stuff, and so we ask I'll ask, what is the message? What's the message of, whether it's a knee or a hip or a back or whatever, what is that message? What's the body's message? What's it trying to get through? And that could even be a past life pattern or a childhood stuff or something.
Sure.
And generally the way I get them to describe the healing as well, what's happening, and it's generally the light. It's this dance of reconnecting with that light within and allowing that light to flow through. And we'll say the childhood, the past life, the galactic stuff, whatever it is, it's kind of like they're the intermediaries to bridge that gap between the human and that pure essence, that pure essential self, that pure source light.
Right.
I guess I'll share one just from the other day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, is that this idea of these soul paths. I had a lady the other day, and when we talk to the higher self, the source, she's had 7 lives. 2 of them before this life was as a human, one as a man, one as a woman, and the other 4 lives was an eagle, a dolphin, a dog, and a snake. And I was asking, what did she learn? What was she learning? The snake was to be on the ground, the eagle was flight, the dolphin was to swim in water without breathing, and the dog was to be a good companion. And just, I guess, just that these pure beings are like pure essences are coming from source. And Dolores Cannon talked about that as well, that these 3 waves of volunteers. Did you read that book?
Yes, I'm familiar with. I've heard a lecture on it. Yeah, I did not read the book.
Yeah, the three waves of volunteers is really interesting. So basically, this book that Dolores wrote, 3 Waves of Volunteers, what she was discovering through her sessions is that basically this call went out from the earth, this vibrational call, especially in relation to seeing where mankind could go and destroy our earth. And this call went out for support. And so the many souls heard this, and this was the first wave. And so the first wave was the baby boomers, was the 60s, was the hippie,
right.
And it makes sense, because all of a sudden there's this wave that's coming in after the Second World War, and they're all like love. So they've come in at this higher frequency. Yeah. Connected to source, connected to this pure essence of love and this truth of love, coming into a world of so much, shut downness and anger and aggression and abuse. Yeah. And so they're like, it's all about love, man. It's all about love. Right. What are you doing? No war, make love.
Peace and love. Yeah.
So that was the first wave. But of course, it was very challenging, because what happened was they came in at such a high frequency. So many of those people found it very challenging, committed suicide. And you may resonate with that first wave. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm
You resonate?
60. I'm 60. So I was like 13 at the end of, the 19, at the end of the 60s and 69,
Yeah,
60.
but you know, it's not exactly that. You know, it's just kind of those waves.
Sure.
Um, did you feel though that you know, did you feel like what the heck is this world when you came into it, or?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've said many times, I'm happy to say it again. The Beatles were the breath of life that I breathed every day of my life in terms of like knowing what's important and what I'm passionate about and care about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I really resonate with the second wave,
Right.
um, which came in a bit later,
Yeah.
and so the second wave, because of what happened with the first wave, the second wave didn't come in at such a high frequency, so came in to
Right.
you know more,
Right.
um,
Be a bridge.
yeah, to be to be able to, and I feel like that was for me, and like it got activated, you know, over the years,
Yeah.
um, so that it was easier to live in the harshness, really. And what I mean by the harshness is the density,
Well,
the
this is
harshness of
punk.
the density.
This was punk, in the 80s, the whole punk thing, I think. Yeah. Or the
Right.
90s, that was speaking for truth, but was very much like, look at the darkness. Look at, you don't have to be a hierarchy to express yourself. You can just pick up a guitar and scream and shout. And, that was like a very liberating thing. I don't know. That's just what I relate to about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things that kind of, and it came in, it actually came up in my second quantum hypnosis session on my training with Dolores.
Yeah.
Actually, it came up did it come up my first one or second one? Might have come up my first one. And that was, I was just out in space, and I was just observing. And so the second wave, a lot of what can be challenging for the second wave is that we're just here to be.
Right.
So it's like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And everything's like, just be,
Right.
just be,
Right.
just be. And
Right.
to be that conduit, to be, to be available to the energy, of course, then that's of course what we're all doing. But
Yeah.
it's like our very beingness is the most is all that's required,
Yes,
which
yes.
like to that left brain is like does not compute.
Sure. Sure.
So that's probably the biggest challenge. It's just to be and not do. And even my tattoo on my arm is nothing to do, everything to be. I am divine love.
Right.
And just to accept that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the second wave. And then the third wave is the indigo and the crystal and the rainbow and all of
Right.
that we're in as well. And of course the indigo for me was those ones who came in and were here to not be whereas my wave I was that I was kind of came to fit in, I feel like, until it was time to awaken and activate and uplift the frequencies. Whereas that indigo came in to go,
Yeah.
you're not going to control me.
Exactly.
You're not going to put me in the box.
Right.
I'm not here. I see your game and I'm not
Right.
here to play it.
Right.
I'm here
Exactly.
to go,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was really challenging, for the parents because,
Sure.
of course, they're trying to do what their parents did to them, which
Right.
is control their kids.
Right. Right.
And then this indigo generation came, no chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Uncontrollable. Know their own minds. Yeah. No, I
Blaze the path for the next ones.
exactly. Well, exactly. And MJ, this is what Patricia Cota-Robles has been talking about in her weekly messages over the last year and a half, that she says we're getting ready for August, which is the 32nd anniversary of the harmonic convergence, which is when my light switch went on. And she says this is when the consciousness codes in the children and the millennials is going to really turn active. So, as you and I were talking before we got on here, there's just such a huge movement of energy suddenly in the last few months of more light, more healing, more love, more grace, more truth. Absolutely. All of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what the younger generations are looking for. They're looking for truth. They're looking for something that really resonates, that lands, because they can feel it.
Sure. And as you said, this was the theme in the 60s, in the 80s, in the 2000s, it's the same thing over and over again, and we're kind of like pushing the wall over here energetically in terms of like helping people to step out of their own denial, as you and I have had to learn to do personally.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can only teach what we understand from our own experience, you know, and then we become the channel for that energy to the degree that we trust it and get out of its way.
Ah, so true.
Yay,
So
yay,
true.
yay. It's getting exciting. It's getting very, very exciting.
It is. And you know, what I was speaking to before I got on was like, it's like that soulfulness in my life, and just even these latter days have kind of taken front seat, you know, of the driver's seat, and my humanness is back here going, okay.
Yeah, yeah. If you say so. If
You
you
look
say
like
so.
yeah, you know, I'm just gonna let go and see where this takes me.
Sure.
And it's that blaze of light that wants to, that really wants to blaze through our every thought, word, and deed, and expression, and eyes, and skin, and, you know, communication, to reach deeper into that deeper connection with each other, and you know, to give each of us permission to be the truth of who we are, you know, and to, you know, because it's all beautiful, you know, the truth of who we are is beautiful. The facade is boring at this stage.
Sure. No, that's right. I absolutely agree. The ego versus the identity, you know, and when our identity is grounded in humility and willingness and flexibility and spirit and truth, then we have something to offer. When it's still attached to the illusion, then, you know, it's the problem, not the solution.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's like, you know, we're going through it, because I'm sure, you know, we're all going through it, and you know, it constantly expanding our energy fields.
Sure.
You know, so that means resolving whatever emotional stuff comes up, whether it's inner child stuff or past life or whatever, where people are coming to healings with you. I had beautiful healings with you myself.
Thank
our
you.
channels, and you know, beautiful. And so, getting that support, you know, that we're on this journey. And so this year I really set myself up with support of sessions with different people.
Great.
And so that I can be the best version of me in who I'm working with as well, you know. So really setting up this support network that we've got each other's back.
Yes, I hear you.
Space for each other.
Yes. No, that's true, MJ, which is, again, another reason why I'm so delighted to connect with you, you know, because we really are on the same page and the same team, and doing the same, climbing the same big mountain together. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, we're taking flight.
We are. We're poised for liftoff. Yeah. Here we go. Well, darling, that I feel like that's, you know, you and I could chat all day. We've done it many times, but I think that's good for our purposes here today, for people to know that you're coming back in a few months to Ireland. And how can people find you and your work online?
Yeah, so my website is vibrantliving.co.nz. So that's my website that covers our retreat here, but also the day spa, the quantum hypnosis, and just a lot of what we're doing in New Zealand. I do have other websites, but I think that's enough to give. If you contact me, I can always email.
Right. Let's have your quantum hypnosis site if you have it.
Okay, so that one's called radiantessence.co.nz.
There you go. See? Easy. Well, sweetheart, I hope I get to give you a hug and a squeeze in person very soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning to come to Cork, because I never got down there the last time I was in Ireland. So I really want to have a little tiki tour. And that's another thing I'm interested in, is just, even just like I want to, like, for myself on my personal level, I really want to acquaint myself with Ireland in a new way, and the sacred sites and the energies, and to co-create that way as well. So I'm up for a bit of an adventure. So if anyone out there, you know, feels inspired to connect with me, and or maybe you're running something that I can be a part of, you know, I'd be quite interested in that as well.
Well, I will give that some thought also. I would love
co-creation.
Yes, exactly. That's the name of the game. Brilliant. And how's your man doing? How's your partner?
Steve is doing awesome. While I'm in Ireland and doing a bit of the Europe tour, he will be cycling through Australia. So that's his next adventure. So that's his very much his soulful path.
Right.
Is taking on these big endurance adventures. So he'll be his next one. He did America last year, as you know, 4,400 Ks through America, the Tour Divide.
Is that all?
That's all. This time he's doing 6,500 Ks through Australia. So it's the first time that this particular race is going on. So he's all geared up in his soulful excitement for his next expansion of his abilities, I guess. And
no wonder you're up at 4:30 in the morning. The two of you are on fire over there. Yeah. Bless you.
He tends to stay up late at night, so he's a bit of a night owl. So I do get to bed nice and early. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
But yeah, we're very blessed. We feel blessed every day. We feel so grateful for the lives we've created, to be who we are, and to really care. Just all we do is care.
Yeah.
That's simplicity of caring. And just people feel cared for and supported and loved, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
I think it's a good gig. Yeah.
It's a good gig. It's a good gig. Yeah, Brilliant. It's a good lifetime.
Brilliant. All right. So, darling, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Peace and blessings. Yeah, we did it. We did it. Cheers. Yay. Bye for now.